Ever been at the verge of a meltdown just hours before deadline? I have, and this is how I deal with it. If you're new here, hi, my name is Sarah, and I'm an engineer and management consultant that's currently on a break to try to rediscover how to live more true to myself. I often find it a bit interesting that we are working in corporates in a high-paced environment with a lot of stress around us, but we don't really have the tools and know how to handle it. And that is something that I want to change. So what has helped me a lot is just being very aware of how I breathe. Because breathing is actually deeply connected in our brain to the different emotions that we feel. So for example, when we feel joy, we tend to breathe more deeply, slow and regular. But when we're anxious or angry, we tend to breathe a lot more irregularly, shorter and also more shallow. So now that we know this, we also know that we can trick our brain into feeling different emotions, even when we are in different states from the beginning. So, for example, you can trick your brain to be calm, even though you are stressed. And being calm, you also tend to think more clearly and rationally, which, from my experience, is quite good to have when working in corporates, especially when you have an important deadline approaching. So for the curious ones of us, I'll just paste a description of why this is happening here. It has something to do with just signaling relaxation and also stimulating the vagus nerve for those of us who wants to know this more deeply. And before I get into the exercises, I also want to share that the thing I've noticed is the most hard about this, often called meditation or mindfulness, is not realizing that we need it, like in general. It is realizing that we need it now, like sitting here, tense shoulders, needing to prepare that PowerPoint to be top-notch for tomorrow's deadline. That's when you need to remember, I'm a bit tense right now. My shoulders are a bit up. That's when you need to realize,
okay, maybe it's time for a breathing exercise now.
And I also want to say there are plenty of really good guides out there on how to breathe. That shows you exactly how to do it more deeply and more into detail. So if you want to look at one of those, I can link some below that I usually use. But today I just want to show you 2 of the exercises that I use regularly to control my stress levels. So I'm thinking that I will just shortly explain the technique first, and then we'll try it out together, just so that you get a sense of how it works and also how it feels like in your body, which can be a good thing if you haven't done these kind of exercises before. And I'll also write the timestamps here to the different chapters if there's anything you would like to go directly to. And otherwise, let's head into it. So the first one that I want to show is something called box breathing, which is a great exercise to use when you're feeling stressed, like in the heat stressed. Thousands of thoughts just spinning around in your head. That's when this is really good, because it's a more active meditation. So you're using your brain to count, which forces it to focus on the meditation rather than just spinning away on something else. And it's very simple. You just breathe in while counting to 4. You hold it there, counting to 4. You breathe out, counting to 4. And you hold it there, counting to 4. And then you'll just repeat this as many times as you need until your body feels calmer. And I'll recommend you to do at least a minute or 2 to really make it effective. And you'll feel in your body that you need it. So I'll just show you now a little bit short how this technique works. And I think we'll just do it a couple of times so that you get a little bit familiar with how it can feel. So if we all just close our eyes together, starting to think a little bit of how your breath is feeling right now. We'll just Take a deep breath in together and out. And now we'll start with the box breathing. So just breathe in while counting to 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, and hold it. Breathe in. Hold it. Breathe out. And hold it. Breathe in. Hold it. And breathe out. And hold it. Just follow your breath again, not trying to control it. And when you feel ready, you can just open your eyes. So that's just a quick introduction to the box breathing. I also recommend you to follow your body in this exercise. If you feel like you want to hold your breath for longer, then do that. If you want to take a deeper breath in, then do it. The count to 4 is just a guideline for you, so remember to at least count to 4. But the longer you breathe in and the longer you breathe out and holding your breath, the better for your body, the more calm it will be. So the second technique that I want to show you guys is the Vipassana meditation technique. It's something that I learned from my 10-day silent retreat experience with them. I'll link some information below for the ones of you that are curious about that. And I experienced that this works very well for me when I just need my mind to get calm, relaxed, and when I want to get into the Zen mode more. And this is a more preventive technique, I'd say, to be more resilient and being able to handle stress better in the longer run. So what we want to do here basically is just focusing on a triangle around our nose. So this little area right here. And we want to follow our breaths. So trying to feel how the air actually floats into the nose when we're breathing in. And then follow it as it gets out. That's basically what we want to do during these 5, 10 or 15 minutes that we set the alarm for. And I often use this as a part of my morning routine, either directly after I've come out from the shower in the morning or when I sit down on the subway. Instead of doom scrolling on Instagram, for example, I'll often just sit down and breathe a little bit before arriving to work. I often realize that I'm stressed because I notice that my breath gets a lot more shallow and that I have a hard time focusing during the meditation sessions. And sometimes I even switch into the box breathing while sitting down doing the Vipassana because I feel like it's too hard for me to just focus on the breath. I get too distracted by my thoughts. So that's a way for me to just force my thoughts into the breathing again. So I'll just show you a bit short how this technique works so that you get a hang of it. Don't worry about if you get distracted by your thoughts. That happens all the time. Doesn't matter how long you've meditated. I think also the monks are talking about it. So don't be hard on yourself on that. We'll just practice to get those breaks a little bit shorter by time. So if you want to close your eyes with me again, just follow your breath a little bit. And then you start focusing only on your nose and the area around it. Try to feel how the air feels on your nostrils when you are breathing in, and how it feels when you breathe out. To control your breath in any way, just follow the air as it floats in and out. You feel a bit tense in your eyebrows, for example, or in your shoulders, try to relax them and go back to the breath. And if you get distracted by a thought, it's okay. Just try to get back to the breath again. Following the air in through your nose and out. Take one deep breath in with me and out through the mouth. Now you can start wiggling your toes and fingers and slowly open the eyes when you feel ready. And as I said previously, it's super okay if you get distracted by your thoughts. That happens to me all the time, even though I've done this for a couple of years now. That's part of the process. And we're just glad that you sat down and gave yourself this little break. And I also want to just put in a quick reminder that we are doing our best here. Be kind to yourself. This is not about performing in any way. This is about you actually investing in yourself to give you the tools you need to be able to handle these kind of situations. That you're just sitting here watching this video and doing these exercises and giving yourself this break. That's a win. If you on top of that realize that you lost focus and needed to get back to your breath, that's an even bigger win. And if you by time manage to realize that you need these kind of breaks in the heating situation, that's a big freaking win for you. We can't be experts from the beginning, right? And this is a great way for you to just get to know your body better. You try to give yourself good prerequisites to succeed with this. Incorporate in your daily routine, or just find some colleagues at work that also wants to have a lower stress level, where you can just remind each other of taking these kind of breaks. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it hopefully gives some inspiration about to take breaks when in that stress bubble. If you like the content that I make, then please consider to subscribe, like, or just leave a comment. That always makes my day. And lastly, take care of yourself. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye! I feel so calm after doing the meditations. I should do this in every video.